All right, it's Thursday, time for week 5. But before we get that, let's look back at week 4, and I'm sitting at a good 40-24 over the course of 4 weeks. So I'm pretty much doing all right. Lions did that thing against the Packers, becoming the big brother of the NFC North. Jordan Love, he had too much pressure in his face, and they couldn't get the run game going. And when it came down to the Lions, what's the point of drafting Jahmyr Gibbs if you're not going to use him? Even David Montgomery has become the main rushing attack, and Jahmyr Gibbs is only out there for, in case he needs to catch a breather. That's it. I know he's a rookie, but you might as well just drafted a running back in the later rounds instead of the first. In any case, the Falcons pretty much embarrassed themselves in London, although they did get Drake London a touchdown. The Jags bounced back, because of course they did. And they're going to be in, I don't know about, they're going to be in Tottenham. They're going to be overseas again, facing the Bills. But the Falcons, Desmond Ridder, he's a one-read quarterback. It's not like the Jags had that much pressure. It's just like you stared on your receiver. It got to the point where it's like, hey, first read, it's going to be a quick throw, jump it. Dolphins, I'm not going to let this one game define them. It's a division game. It was a division game against the Bills, who have recovered from their week 1 fiasco. Granted, I thought the Bills wouldn't be able to pull that off again since they beat up on Commanders, but they did their thing against the Dolphins and, calm down the Dolphins' hype. But of course, when you kill one hype train, another one takes its place. The Broncos look to have almost lost this game big, and then you would think the Bears would have had their win, but even with 4 touchdowns and over 300 yards, one mistake from Justin Fields, and that game got tied. But I will not blame the loss on Justin Fields because of that fumble. I'll blame it on the coach for not kicking the game for not kicking the field goal to take the lead. So, you put the defense on their heels. Broncos march down the field, kick a field goal to take the lead, and now the Bears need to somehow get down the field again. And of course, Fields throws an interception. Honestly speaking, I think if they kick the field goal, the Bears at least, then the Broncos might have a harder time of, getting down the field. The Bengals, I thought the Titans would be bad, but the Bengals were even worse. The Titans actually did their thing. Burrow's a statue. He can't run. He's taking more hits and sacks, not compared to previous years, but he's taking them when he shouldn't. And that's affecting the passing game, which is, of course, not giving them any points on board. Honestly speaking, I want to know when they even got a field goal. In all honesty, I'm liking it. Bengals should be 0-4, but of course the Rams, Stafford throws the game away. And then they don't run the ball when they're in the red zone. More on that when I get to them. Ravens did their thing against the Browns. Of course, you got to have the people out there that are going to be like, well, you went up against a rookie quarterback on a short notice. First off, they knew that Watson was hurt. They knew he was a game-time decision. Not the Ravens' fault that you didn't get the rookie DTR some first-team reps. Honestly speaking, though, I don't think it would have mattered. Ravens' pass rush was getting home, and they got 3 interceptions, one really mattering, that put the Ravens pretty much in the red zone. And then they just went on from there. Lamar, he did his thing. And they're not even healthy. The Rams finally learned what running the ball inside the red zone means, but still almost blew the lead to the Colts. Anthony Richardson did his thing, led a great comeback, but over time, they just couldn't get the ball. Honestly speaking, if the Rams didn't score that touchdown, Puka Nacua, Colts win this game. But we'll move on from that. Next up is the Buccaneers and the Saints. And for some odd reason, they decided to play Derek Carr, who was recovering from an injury. Yeah, you can ask the Cleveland Browns about playing a quarterback with a injured upper body. Does for you. Should have sat Carr. And they paid the price for it. Buccaneers won their thing. And, yeah, all right. This game, oh, man. Eagles are looking like the most unstable, undefeated team since the 2020 Steelers. Because I didn't expect this game to be close. And for most of this game, the Commanders were in the lead. And if not, and then when we get to overtime, and my thing about it is the Eagles almost screwed themselves by scoring a touchdown and giving the Commanders time on the clock to move down the field and score a timed touchdown. The Eagles were moving the ball well. They could have milked the clock down, kicked the game-winning field goal, and just be done with it. But they decided to score a touchdown, and I don't know, it was stupid. But then the Commanders, though, just bad luck. If that receiver doesn't land on that Eagles defender's arm, his foot doesn't roll out of bounds. That's how it was close. I think if he makes that catch in bounds, Commanders win that game. The Vikings almost blew it. With Kirk Cousins throwing a pick six at the goal line. But the Panthers O-line can't protect Bryce Young. And it sucks because, you know, they're trying, but he's not getting the time he needs to perform well like Richardson and Stroud. That's the fate of the first round quarterbacks until, you know, the very next season they can, you know, pick it up. Speaking of Stroud, he put on a masterclass against the Steelers. His O-line is made up of backups and backups of backups. But he still did his thing. And Kenny Pickett, he did not do a thing. Now he got hurt. And you got the fan base for the Steelers talking about firing Matt Canada. Reminds me of the Ravens wanting to fire Greg Roman. Looking at this, I'm glad the Ravens played C.J. Stroud week 1 and not later weeks, because I don't even know who this guy is, but he is doing a great job. The Chargers almost choked another game, this time to the Raiders, and if not for the defense bailing out that coach, who seems to love going for it on 4th down in his own territory with the lead. Oh my gosh, how many times is this going to happen to the point where someone on that team goes like, yo, no, I'm overruling you. We're up. Punt the ball, forcing them work down the field. They needed a touchdown. If the defense doesn't make that interception, the Raiders could possibly have tied the game up and who knows, won. But, yeah. The Cowboys got their bounce-back game against the Patriots. Mac Jones was absolutely overwhelmed, fumbling the ball for a scoop and score, and throwing a pick six. But, of course, no one cared about that. They just wanted to look on ahead to the Cowboys playing the 49ers next week. Speaking of the 49ers, they're still undefeated. And while the Cardinals are playing a tough competitive season after 4 games, can't really stop Christian McCaffrey, who has scored in, I think, 13 games straight? And with 4 touchdowns on that game. Nah. We'll see what happens next week. This game, the Chiefs and the Jets. While I'm glad I got the pick right, I'm not glad at how it went down. The Chiefs started off with a 17-0 lead, and then people started getting upset because of the face mask that gave the Jets a safety, 2 points, who will later on get a field goal. Now it's 17-5. And then they get another touchdown, which people are saying aided by that horse collar. That wasn't a horse collar. So now it's 12-17. Here's my thing. the Chiefs never scored another point until later in the second half, which was only a field goal. The Jets tied it up at halftime, 20-20. Wait, what did I say? The Chiefs did score another field goal to make it 20-12, and then the Jets went up and they tied it up at halftime, and then the Chiefs scored again, and then this is where it gets messed up. They missed a holding call on a Chiefs lineman, which allowed Mahomes to convert a 3rd and 20 or 3rd and 22. Then they called a holding call on the Jets defense, but the pass was offline and the flag wasn't thrown until after the ball was intercepted. The Jets wouldn't get the ball back. It's one thing for refs to not throw the flag so they don't affect the game, but when you throw it when you shouldn't, and it's on prime time where everyone sees it, I want to say the Chiefs will get that karma coming to them, but no. The Chiefs can lose to the NFC. It won't affect their standings in the AFC picture later in December. But they can't lose an AFC game, especially with Taylor Swift in the stands, which I don't understand why that's such a big deal now. And then we finish it off with the Monday night game where the Seahawks sacked Daniel Jones 11 times. Daniel Jones throwing a pick six and fumbling the ball like he usually does, and just reconfirmed my belief that without Saquon, Daniel Jones is nothing. And the Giants gave him that contract, which he didn't deserve. Yeah, the Giants are going to have to sleep with that for the next how long that contract lasts. So, yeah, I did pretty well. Of all those games, I only missed 3. So, that's cool. On to week 5. Tonight we have the Bears versus the Commanders. And while the Bears are undefeated, I do not see them getting the game against Commanders, who went toe-to-toe with the Eagles. And I don't know, I think Sam Howell, he's improving. Even though it's going to be his 6th game? Yeah, it'll be his 6th game. So I got the Commanders. Will it be close? Last year, it was very boring. I don't see it being boring tonight, hopefully. And we'll move on from there. Later this Sunday, overseas, we have the Jags and the Bills. And Jags don't lose overseas. I'm still picking the Bills. I don't see the Jags winning, even though Josh Allen of the Bills is scared of Josh Allen of the Jags. If the Jags win, I'll be happy. But I don't see it happening. Then we got the Texans and the Falcons, and how the Falcons look. I got the Texans. The Texans. CJ Stroud looks far better than Desmond Ridder. And if you're going to ask me who do I trust more to throw the ball between the two, it's Stroud. The Panthers against the Lions. Look, Bryce Young is not... He must have been born under a bad star for this season, because he is not going to... I don't see him surviving against that Lions pass rush or keeping up with the Lions offense. The Titans and the Colts, I've been looking at this one for days, and I can't figure out who I want. On the one hand, you have Anthony Richardson, who's playing well. He's the second best out of that draft. Well, so he's middle of the first round quarterbacks. But you got the Titans, who have Derrick Henry, who did his thing. And I don't know how well the Colts are at stopping the run. And I don't know if I can trust Tannehill. I don't know what to do with this one. And no, neither does everyone else. The entire AFC South is 2-2. So someone's going to be leading the division after this week. I think it's going to be from this game. So I'm going to pick the Colts. But if it goes to the Titans, what can you do? Why is this a question? No way Daniel Jones keeps up with this Miami offense. Saquon might be back, but he will definitely be on a pitch count. So I got the Dolphins. This game between the Saints and the Patriots, I do not know what to do. It's pretty much like who do you, based on last week's games, they both lost, but Derek Carr is hurt, but Mac Jones is garbage. What did I say? Daniel Jones? I said Derek Carr. I got the Giants still on the screen. You got Derek Carr, who's hurt. Who knows how he's recovered? But I would still take the Saints over the Patriots. Then we got the Ravens and the Steelers, the best rivalry in the league. And you know I'm always picking the Ravens. Always. A lot of people for the Ravens are coming back from injury. Might be ready to go for this Sunday. And might not play at all. But they're coming back. And that's what the Ravens need right now. They need people to come back and just rock this division. Rock this league. And take it all the way. But for right now, we're looking at the Steelers. And I got this as a W for the Ravens. Kenny Pickett, there's talk about him playing. There's talk about him not playing. It doesn't matter. Honestly. It's just that a lot of people are focusing on Lamar's history with the Steelers, against the Steelers. He does well against the Bengals and the Browns, but with the Steelers, it seems they have his number. I see this game as not being as close as in the past with the Steelers and the Ravens. And I got the Ravens win this by at least, well, more than a score. Tell you like that. And then we got the Eagles and the Rams. And while the Eagles look shaky, not shaky, but as an unreliable, undefeated team, I don't know. I don't see Stafford surviving against that defense because he's always throwing stupid interceptions. And that pass rush is pretty good for the Eagles. Cooper Kupp might be back for the Rams. But even if he's able to go, I don't see him being as big of a threat. So that's a good thing that Puka Nacua is still there. But I got the Eagles for this one. That put him to 5-0. If the Rams win, it's going to probably be on the mistakes of the Eagles. Then we got the Bengals and the Cardinals. And while I'm seeing things about Burrow, he's moving well in practice. It's practice. He's saying he's good to go. And I don't see how that works since he was getting hit a lot. So it's not like you could recover after being hurt. So I got the Cardinals winning this game, who have been playing very competitively for the past 4 weeks. I got them getting the win, forcing the Bengals to go down to 1-4, and really putting their playoff hopes on a downward slide. Because this game, well, I don't want to look ahead, but there's a lot of talk about them needing to win this game, and hopefully the Cardinals will do what the Rams did not and give them the L. Then we got Wilson with a Wilson versus Wilson. Oh, that was bad. The Jets, they played phenomenally. Zach Wilson outperformed Mahomes, and because of it, the Reds had to get involved. I'm not gonna move on from that. Then you got the Broncos, who have Russell Wilson, who came alive later in that game against the Bears. But I think the defense for the Jets is better than defense for the Bears. And unlike Mahomes, Wilson can't run like he normally does. So I got the Jets. Let's do it. Mahomes isn't going to be... They're not going to allow Mahomes to lose to Kirk Cousins. Especially the way that Kirk Cousins and the Vikings have been playing offensively. They have a turnover almost every game this season. No. They have a turnover every game this season. Yeah. So it's like... Do they? Well, it feels like they have a turnover almost every game this season. I'll have to look into it. Yeah, I went back. I went and looked. Yeah, they have a turnover every season. So yeah, if you've been having turnovers, interceptions, or fumbles every game for the past 4 games, and now you're going up against an offense that will pretty much thrive off of that, yeah, I got the Chiefs. Because even if Mahomes throws an interception, there's probably going to be a flag that follows it. So it's not like you can do anything. You're going to lose the turnover battle, and you're going to lose the game. Chiefs over the Vikings. Then we got the Cowboys and the 49ers. And the 49ers have had the Cowboys number in the playoffs for 2 years straight. A lot of people want to see Dak fail. And a lot of people want Purdy to succeed. Even though Purdy hasn't really like, I'm just going to say it. The 49ers are a plug-and-play quarterback offense. I don't think it matters who's at quarterback so long as they do not turn the ball over. Who knows if Debo's good to go? Christian McCaffrey, he's a beast. But I'm picking the Cowboys to get over that. Because the one thing I love to see is someone who gets talked bad in the media win the game, so the media has to go back and try to cover themselves. It's fun to watch. It's good TV. Then we got the Packers facing the Raiders. Who knows if Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be good to go? And who knows how the Packers' offensive line is looking. I want to pick the Packers, but if it's Garoppolo or O'Connell, the rookie, I want to pick the Raiders. But this is a game where it could go either way. I don't know what to pick. I'll stick with the Raiders. And I'll say they score like 42 points. I don't know. I don't think. I've always come close, but never one that was correct. So those are my picks. And I'm locked in. It's going to be a couple of iffy ones this weekend. The Packers and the Raiders. The Titans and the Colts. Texans and the Falcons, maybe. And Jags and the Bills. Alright. I'm locked in. Hopefully I keep this win streak going.